Hello everybody, it's Eric, your science teacher. Or should I say, it's Flat Eric, your other science teacher. You may recall that in our first class, you learned that I like to do lots of exploring. Sometimes I explore by myself. And other times, I explore with my family. In this lesson, we're going to learn how scientists explore. Scientists explore by observing things. And when they observe things, their observing leads them to wonder about them. And when they wonder, their wondering leads to wonderful questions and wonderful exploration. So let's take a look at some of the things that I have observed recently. And let's take a look at some of the things I'm wondering about. As you watch, I want you to think about, what do you see and what do you wonder?
I went to the beach and I watched some birds and I wondered, why were they moving their legs so fast? And what were they doing when they were sticking their mouths in the sand? I went to the forest and I saw a chipmunk and I wondered, why were its cheeks so puffy?
I went to a field and saw an elk, and I wondered why it moved its mouth from side to side when it chewed.
At a farm we saw a horse, and we wondered, was it a baby horse or just a small horse?
I went to the desert, and I searched for things. I saw cactuses and wondered how they survived with no water. And I also saw something that was very, very strange.
I saw shells in the desert, and I wondered how they got there.
I saw some race cars, and I wondered why the cars were going one way, but their wheels were turned the other. We went to a lake high in the mountains, and we saw this animal swimming, and I wondered what it was, and I wondered, how could it climb that?
A frog. A bat. Wow. What is a bat doing swimming instead of flying?
I went hiking and running in the mountains.
And I saw footprints of dinosaurs. And as I looked at the footprints, I wondered, how are different kinds of fossils made?
We went to a rainforest, and we saw this great big mountain, but it didn't look like any other mountain. And as we watched and watched and watched, we started to wonder, how are volcanoes made? And where do the fiery rocks come from? We saw a small pond next to a river. and we saw tadpoles swimming. And we wondered,
why did some have no legs and others have legs?
one night I stayed up late, and I looked out the window, and across the dark, dark sky, I started to see lights. And I wondered what they were. And as I wondered what they were, I wondered, how could there be lightning even when there was no rain?
I saw some grass, and I saw a rabbit eating the grass. And as I looked at the grass and looked at the rabbit, I wondered, why was the rabbit's fur almost the same color as most of the grass?
We found some really big pine cones, and I wondered, do really big pine cones come from really big trees? I saw a fish, and I wondered why it wasn't in the water. We walked along the beach, and I saw tracks in the sand, and I wondered, how were they made?
We went swimming under the water, and we saw lots of bubbles. And we watched the bubbles, and then we saw some fish. And as we watched the fish and watched the bubbles, we wondered, were the fish breathing the air that was in the bubbles?
So now it's your turn, my friends. It's time for us to do some exploring. As we explore, we're going to talk about what do we see and what do we wonder. Stay tuned for your station instructions.